You know, you never know for sure whether or not stuff like this is reliable, but man, a wide ideology gap is opening up between young men and women in countries across the world. Look at South Korea, dude. I knew South Korea had like a pretty aggressive anti-feminist movement going on with their younger population, but Jesus, this is the political ideology of 18 to 29-year-olds. Percent liberal minus percent conservative by sex. I don't know how much this is influenced by stuff like like radicals. I don't know like whether they count leftists or whatever. I don't know the exact methodology. No matter the methodology, like this is pretty noteworthy, you know? Brit bongers win on this chart to an extent, yeah. I mean, UK men, that's the closest we're getting, I suppose, to goodness here. Yeah, a lot of this, isn't really that surprising, I don't feel. Like I've said, fascism, and I guess to a large extent reactionary politics, is about masculine sexual anxiety and everything that it does to society. Nowadays, a lot of men feel kind of like listless and adrift and lost, and they don't know if they're going to be able to find their way in life or find love. And I sympathize with them for that. But the consequence of this is that a lot of guys are, let's be clear here, completely fucking unlikable, right? Like, a lot of guys are just miserable wretches. They're not like that innately. I don't think they were born that way. I don't think anything forces them to be that way, like in a way that can't be corrected for. But just in terms of spending time with other people, women are better people. That's not because there's anything innately better about being a woman. It's just a lot of guys are miserable wretches, just wretched people. Angry and bitter and jealous and hateful. And there are women like that too. Don't get me wrong. There certainly are. Just not as many of them. Also, a lot of bitchy women make up for it in other ways. There's like an effort at least at being funny, or there's some kind of passion or interest, but there's some guys are just black holes of nothing. I think a lot of this is a mental illness thing. Like it could be depression or alienation, a feeling that being a man means you have to be kind of like stoic and disaffected and disconnected and all that other crap. In fact, I think that's a huge part of it, Guys are taught, it's kind of like emasculating or feminine to be upfront with your emotions. And because of that, they just are naturally closed off and distrustful of others as a default, They just don't share that much. So it's not a huge surprise a lot of them would turn up this way. Go look up the questions they asked on the test. Many of those questions were dog asked. Like some of these were literacy test level questions. Blue Star Shift. I don't know what you're referring to. What does that mean? Literacy test level questions? There's a paywall on the article. Can you find it for me? From this graph? Okay, let me see. I really would like the full article. Hate paywalling that crap. Oh, this is just down the thread, I see. Here's South Korea, where the ideology divide between young men and women is famously wide. Young women have become markedly more progressive on gender norms, but young men have not budged. The result, an emerging social rift. Share who agree with the statement that what women really want is a family and children, although they like to work too, by age and sex. So if you look at older Korean men and women, basically nobody thinks that this statement is true. Wait, what? This statement's kind of confusingly worded. What women really want is a family and children, although they like to work too. I guess that's not like like that's not uninterpretable. It's just kind of odd. And of course, the gender gulf here. Share of people who agree with the statement that women seek to gain power by getting control over men by age and sex. Damn, dude. Look how much younger guys are shifting up on this particular question. I've told you, remember? I've told you. A huge number of guys, like a significant number of them, are eternally bitter and resentful towards women because they think that women are trying to like evilly trick them with their pussies or whatever. All groups of Britons have become much more progressive on race and immigration, except young men, opening up a divide among young adults. This is also a sex thing, by the way. Here's Germany on a similar issue. Young German women have become markedly more progressive on attitudes to immigrants, while young German men are more conservative on this than their elders. This is also a sex thing. In Poland's elections last year, 46% of young men voted for the far-right National Confederation Party, compared to just 16% of young women. There was no such divide among older age groups. Cool. It's always a sex thing. It is always a sex thing. Bitter, lonely men feel that something that they're entitled to, pussy, or a loving family, or whatever else, anything woman-related, has been taken from them either by the, the nefarious Jew or by, evil globalist blah blah, or by SJWs or whatever. This is the underlying root of all reactionary movements fundamentally. Or yeah, the insidious Tyrone, the fear that immigrants will come in and fuck your women or whatever. I'm telling you guys, this is you can learn more from politics by just briefly looking at like interracial pornography comics. Even like on Twitter, you find one artist who does that stuff. Browse that for 5 minutes and you will learn more about politics than you could from a 4-year poli-sci degree. All of politics is that. There was like a 1-to-1 relationship between being a conservative and being a racist, and being fucking obsessed with the depiction of black men as like 7-foot-tall, hairless, giga-chad muscle men with 8-foot cocks. Like, go to 4chan. Go to the GIFs porn board, or find one of the 18 currently active threads on interracial pornography, and then oscillate between the interracial pornography and people being very racist, but in a way that makes it clear they're getting off to it. That's conservatism. That's it. It's present literally everywhere. They do it everywhere. In Israel, I guarantee you that Zionist fascists down there fall asleep at night, flop sweating at the idea of a Giga Chad Arab alpha male fucking their like Jewish wife or whatever. Or in China, there are like fascist Han nationalists who are terrified of a fucking Tibetan or Uyghur Muslim Giga Chad alpha male fucking their, like, this is literally all they have. A cursory reading of America's history through like Jim Crow and slavery, where there was so much like lurid, veiled pornography made about the brutish black man and their obsession with white women. Like, there would literally be white citizens council meetings where these like 40 or 50-year-old white men frothing at the lips would talk about how these big brutish animalistic black men wanted to ravage their wives. I hope they all wore loose pants to the function so they didn't embarrass themselves. Like, literally, you go back to the slave days. They would punish slaves by castrating them and killing them because it was like they had to like engage in one final act of violence against the perceived sexual prowess of the black man. I'm so lost. You can't be lost on this. This is the entire right wing. This is the entire right wing. This is it. Literally, look at these texts from Vince McMahon. He literally goes on with his obsession of wanting to see black men fuck this woman he's sexually abusing. He's also a huge Trump supporter. I haven't seen this before. I have a feeling that my point's going to be validated. Yep, it certainly looks like it. Your last picture. You need your panties ripped off and 3 big black dicks in all 3 holes at the same time. Way up your pussy and way up your ass as far as they will go, but even farther. And the thickest cock goes down your throat, so it makes you gag and convulse as those big black cocks pound away. It feels like from the start you're being assaulted, but it's made you come nonstop. Just one continuous constant orgasm before you pass out and those big black dicks squirt their load of cum inside you. As you lay on your stomach, the cum is coming out your holes. I'll turn you over and jack off all over on you. I don't know who this person is, but this is probably like the median Trump voter, I imagine. So this guy was abusing this chick and also doing all this? Not very good at sexting either, like for several reasons. He owned WWE. This was that Vince? Oh, I didn't remember his name fully. I thought, oh, is that the guy? But I didn't think it was that the guy. That guy? That guy's racist as fuck. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah. They're all like that, by the way. It's not just Vince. That's every conservative. Every conservative.